Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Happy Liberation Day. This is the second video I'm recording because the Orange Cheeto in Chief has put out his statement. In fact, he's making a whole speech here, I guess. 9-minute long speech. I see he's also posted something to the Ministry of Truth. And as I predicted, and as anyone could have predicted, he's pissed. Guys, he's pissed. Which means I'm happy. I've already heard him threatening a 10% new global tariff. Which I just love that his total disregard for the balance of powers and the Constitution is on full display in front of America right now, in the world. Really exposing himself. So let's hear him bitch and moan. And I will probably just sit here and laugh. I don't know. Let's see.
Wow. Got a lot of people. That's a new record.
There's Howard Lutnick, Epstein's butt buddy over here. Still up on stage. Total disgrace.
Set a record every time.
Total disgrace.
Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to...
Does he know how the Supreme Court works? Like, this shit is dumb enough when he says this about the Senate or the Congress, but the Supreme Court it doesn't work like that, buddy, you dumbass. They don't even get to do what they think is best for the country. They're ruling on if something's constitutional or not. At least in theory, that's how it's supposed to work. And I actually do have a lot of respect for most of the judges on the Supreme Court. And in this case, I think they did a great job.
Thank and congratulate Justices Thomas.
But that's really something that drives me nuts. Honestly, it drives me nuts when the other side does it too, the Democrats. Like, people talk about Supreme Court decisions as if it's like the justices are politically voting on something. They're not. That's not the idea. They're supposed to be impartial. They're just saying whether or not it's a legal law or not. Anyway, you guys know that.
Alito and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinion...
You sound like a dumbass. Just saying that, you sound like a dumbass. And if those judges have any integrity, they are actually embarrassed to hear the president saying something like that. They'd probably rather you don't.
There's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way.
Let me guess, you only read the dissenting opinion, right, you dumbass? There's no way? How can you say there's no way? You're such a lying sack of whatever.
Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long.
They're dancing in the streets. Woohoo! Me too. Hell yeah, we are.
That I can
They won't be dancing for long. Is that a threat? The fuck?
assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic...
Dude, you have a lot of nerve saying that. Wow, this is such outrageous corruption. So disgusting to watch. The president, you know, Obama would never do this. You know, and I'm not even just saying Obama like a Democrat. Any president worth a damn in America's history would never do this. They would never speak like this. They have respect for the balance of power, for the Constitution. For the legislative branch and the judicial branch and their own branch, the executive branch. Trump just views the executive, like the other branches, the other balances of power as obstacles in his way, which they are to a tyrant.
No matter how good a case you have, it's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing.
Actually, you can. If any of those judges, the liberal judges, are loyal to the Democrats, then screw them. They're not supposed to be loyal to anybody. So yes, I will knock their loyalty if that's true. Happily. But that's because I have an ounce of integrity in my bones.
But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people.
Did he just say that? The implication there is just actually blowing my mind. This guy's a dumbass. Dangerously stupid. Dangerously stupid. So he's there more so than he's critiquing the liberal justices' supposed loyalty to the Democrats, which, like I said, if that does exist, then screw them. He's actually more so critiquing the conservative judges for not being loyal. He even called them our people. Like, the judges are not affiliated with any party. I think that hopefully goes without saying. Supreme Court judges are not affiliated with a party. They're not your people. They're our people. They're the people of the people. Okay? Their job is to balance out your power, to keep you in check, which they just successfully did. Major success for the U.S. Constitution. Thank God, we needed it. And he's like, you can't say the same about our people's loyalty. What a horrendous statement. Ew. Ew. Ew.
Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court. And it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular. When in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats. And
what the fuck are you talking about? They think they're being politically correct by saying that this law, the IEEPA, I think it is, this act doesn't give you power to impose tariffs. How is that politically correct? What does being politically correct have to do with anything? They had a job to do, okay? These people, like, Trump can't help but project his own incompetence, unprofessional corruption onto other people. So he's like, I know that they're corrupt, like me, that they don't have any integrity. He doesn't even know what that feels like. So he's like, so what are their ulterior motives? They're secretly lapdogs for the Democrats. That must be it. Like, no, they're just analyzing the law and trying to determine if it's constitutional. Or your ability to enact tariffs under that law. That's what they're doing, and frankly, it's actually pretty obvious that you're not just allowed to unilaterally impose tariffs under that law. If you were, then what's the point of Congress? If you would read the other opinion, not just the dissenting opinion, you would see them talk about, how is obviously imposing tariffs and duties are, that's the jurisdiction of Congress to impose those, not the president. That's very plainly stated in the Constitution. So the default here is an obvious answer. Of course you can't just impose tariffs. Now, under this act, he was trying to use a loophole by saying, we're in a national emergency, which we're not. So that's already a lie, but that's outside the jurisdiction of this case, outside the scope. But even if it wasn't, you still can't impose tariffs under this, because that's a very protected thing. It's not a joke. Like, this whole thing isn't a joke. Trump seems to think it's all a joke. You know, why aren't they letting me impose tariffs? You're not allowed to, buddy. It's a little thing called balance of power.
Not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my
Oh, that's a good one.
opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign
They're disloyal to the Constitution.
interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes.
The fuck are you talking
Won
about?
in a landslide.
It was not a landslide. It was not a landslide.
The cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig.
Oh my god, man. Oh my god, dude. I mean, all of that being outrageous to say, it's also totally irrelevant. The fuck does that have to do with the Supreme Court determining if this is constitutional or not? You think that that factors into their decision? That would be a huge problem if any of that factored into their decision. Okay? It's not supposed to, buddy. Do a little reading on the Federalist Papers, okay, and the founding of our country.
But these people are obnoxious.
Go move to Russia, okay? Go move to Russia. Go run against Putin if you want a country like that. That's not America. It's not how it's supposed to be.
Obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think
Yeah, I'm
certain
loud.
justices are afraid of that. They don't want to
Yeah, they're afraid of me, I'm sure.
do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important
Even though you're the president with all the power and you're the one indirectly threatening them with consequences, I'm sure. You know? But they're afraid of someone else? They're afraid of the Democrats? Huh? What are they afraid of? It doesn't make any sense. They could have just voted along party lines, and that would have been the safe choice for them. Instead, they chose to have a backbone, vote against you. That's what puts them in danger. So how are you going to say that they did it out of fear?
case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security, and also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest
What are you so butthurt about?
in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted
This is a large in Europe, isn't it, guys?
to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I
Such high integrity.
understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good
yeah.
boy. I have very
Can't stand this fucker on the right. Close your fucking mouth, bitch. Go back to Epstein's Island, dude. I'm sure that's the face he made when he brought out a little girl.
effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000.
The Dow! Dow is 50,000.
on the Dow.
Nobody uses the Dow, by the way. Only a stupid boomer uses the Dow. It's not even market cap weighted. It's a ridiculous index.
And simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P. Two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be
What about Bitcoin?
attained. Think of that. Nobody thought.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Can I just pull up a Dow Jones all-time chart real quick? Let me just pull this up real quick. Wow! Can't you tell that under Trump it's just doing incredible as opposed to any other time in American history? The Dow just goes up, okay? It's been going up for 30 years. Under Biden, it freaking rocketed. Look at this shit. Boom! Look at this shit under Biden. Right here. When he took over. Boom! It's just retarded. It's just ridiculous. The Dow's been going up for 30 years, dude. And no one gives a shit about the Dow. They care about their groceries.
it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners.
This is such a bad look for him. Funny thing is, even what he doesn't know, he's actually lost touch with his base to a large extent. He doesn't realize his base of like country people. I know a lot of them. They don't care about the Dow or the S&P. They don't give two shits. Truly, they don't. In fact, that's like the opposite of what they care about. They hate elites. That's why they elected Trump. They viewed him as like the opposition to the elites in power. What's more elite than Wall Street and the Dow? But this Trump thinks this is a good look for him. He's just an idiot.
In economics, they said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year.
No one said that.
We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear. Could have been nuclear.
Oh, the one-day war.
Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. That is so embarrassing for those justices to hear the president, who you're supposed to be totally impartial to, separate from, and balancing out his power, to hear him, I have such respect for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Even if they are secretly his lackey, they're like, shut up, dude. Shut up. You're just an idiot.
But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll
You print the money.
Continue to do so.
You print the money. Do you know that? You make the money out of thin air. Yeah. News flash to Trump. News flash. Maybe that's breaking news. Someone needs to tell him. Someone needs to tell him. And that money is not coming from other countries. It's coming, obviously, the importers pay the tax. And, well, of course, that line item is up for, is part of the negotiation between the importer and the exporter as far as how much they're going to pay for the import. Studies have shown, and if you just look at the empirical inflation data, definitely inflationary. That cost is empirically being passed on to the American consumer. About 70% of it or something, about 70 to 90% of it. Based on different studies. Of course, it's hard to exactly pinpoint. But yeah, that's a fact. So, all this revenue you're talking about raising, you're sucking money out of the American consumers. And you're doing it from small businesses and consumers. It's like a flat tax. It's the most regressive form of tax and inflationary tax. Anyway, it's just stupid.
To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however,
Ridiculous.
the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money.
Why the fuck? What does he even mean? I'm trying to hear him out. Like, what are you saying?
Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA.
No shit. Like, do you understand how these types of constraints work? Why would you be able to charge just a small amount? It's either you can charge it or you can't, and you can't. Do you understand that? Can I just charge $1? No. What the fuck are you talking about?
Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries. Certainly
For sure. Oh, yeah.
not the United States of America.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't done to protect anything but the Constitution.
Which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting.
We're not supposed to be thinking of any type of other interests besides interpreting the law and the Constitution. That's what they're supposed to be doing, and that's what most of them did.
But I am allowed to cut off
Anybody with a brain knows that.
in all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign...
Yeah, so you can destroy the United States of America if you so want to. I guess he's saying he is threatening to do that, you know. That's awesome.
country destroying embargo. I can embargo.
I can embargo! God. Please, not so loud. It's annoying.
I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want.
Yeah, the act clearly does not specify you can impose tariffs. It just says regulate. You can regulate imports. Sorry, buddy. You're going to have to get a more specific language if you're trying to take Congress's ability to tax and tariff from them.
Want to do to them, but I can't charge any
This shit's going to make me explode.
money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10,
What good would that? You think that would be good for us?
I can't do that.
Yeah, get it through your fucking head. You can't do it. This is not like... That's not a contradiction. Just because you keep saying it like that doesn't mean it's a contradiction. Yes, you can shut off all trade with a country. If you think we should do that, then you're an idiot. But you can do that. But yet, correct, you cannot charge a tariff. Understand?
It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives
Oh, it
that
doesn't matter, but you seem really upset about it.
have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that
I don't, honestly, if he's able to undermine the Supreme Court's decision here and use some other loophole to charge tariffs, that's bad, and I hate that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a massive win for America. It's a massive win for the U.S. Constitution, and it shows that Trump is not infallible, and it shows that, honestly, he's losing a lot of influence, and he hasn't overtaken all of our institutions yet, you know. Trump's stock is going way down.
the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right.
Why don't you just go to Congress? Hey, if you think this is so popular with the American people, you understand we have a solution for this. You can get tariffs. You just have to get congressional approval. Is that a problem? Why is that a problem? You think it's so popular, so brilliant. Just get congressional approval for it. And it will happen. That's how you do it. That's how the country works. That's how a democracy works. That's how the United States works.
To ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries. But a much
He is pissed.
more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that?
It's not crazy.
Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now.
Can you please stop saying that?
And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago.
That's how you know it's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's how you know it's bullshit. Anyone listening can tell you the United States was not a dead country a year and a half ago, was it? Was it? It objectively was not. So you're lying. Flat out lie.
Under an incompetent.
Okay, they cut him off. Oh, well. I'm sure he just kept repeating himself. Because honestly, I'm done. For right now, I'm done listening to that. Which, I mean, the only reason is because it's over. But, you know, I don't know why they cut it off right there, but I don't know if he kept rambling on. But I got the gist of it. He's mad, basically. He's mad. Wow, guys. Okay, I got a little heated during this. I'm sorry. But I'm happy. I'm very happy. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.